And we're sitting there having, just as we start hearing my phone rings.
What is this and this?
Answers the phone.
All the cups
went out of their face. And I knew something was wrong. I'm like, what's wrong? And she's stunned. She says a collect call from Adrian. I knew something was wrong. And she's stunned. She says a collect call from Adrian. Come on, it's one of my brothers, it's one of my boys playing. This is not the time to play around like that because I'm really upset about it. So I take the phone, I say, hello. The voice on the other side of the phone, it was the voice I knew all of my life from childhood. This was my friend Adrian. He called me Mike. There's only 3 or 4 people in my life that call me Mike because I hate being called that. And right off the bat, it was him. And he said, help me. Help me. You know how to help me. And I was like, Adrian, where are you? He said, they're trying to attack me inside. I ran away, help me. You gotta help me right now before I get back. But I can hear all these voices screaming at him for being on the phone. I can hear a sound behind him that sounded like I'm only reminded of when I'm near a roaring fireplace or a barbecue pit when you can hear the heat cut through the air. It was magnified and I could hear people screaming and arguing with him. And then I could hear him begin to fight. And I could hear that he was overpowered. He kept screaming, no, let me go, no. And he was screaming my name. Phone just went dead. The sound dissipated, and that was it. I stood there for minutes. It's very haunting to be on the phone with a person that you can't help. And I talked it over with my girlfriend. She told me to call the operator to see if the operator could put a trace on the number. I tried that. That didn't happen. The operator told me it should be reflected on my bill if it was a collect call. When the phone bill came, I knew the date, the time, everything. There was nothing on my phone bill to reflect that telephone call. But my girlfriend Kimberly was there, I was there, and I was not hallucinating. I don't do drugs. I barely drink. This was a phone call that I received from the other side, and they made contact with me through a telephone. He kept saying that I knew how to help him. And to this day, I'm still baffled as to exactly what he meant. I really don't know how I could have helped him. I really don't. I wish I did, but I don't. The phone call was a message to me because I was taught that hell is a real place. There's always consequences. Karma is alive and well. Had I been with him when death came, it could have taken me. I know that the spirit world is very real.
I gotta stop talking, bro.
Don't be afraid. Just make sure that you walk in the light. That's it. That's the only protection you have.
I really gotta stop.
I was a child in the 60s, and of course we talked about the paranormal. That's when it became kind of almost household conversation. But there wasn't a disbelief or a fear like some people have.
Stop that, please.
In 19 1970, I had a boyfriend who was a wonderful musician.
I don't know where.
And he had a
A lot of
band.
people
And
run, bro.
we were offered the opportunity
same
to
thing.
play with the element
Fight.
in South Carolina, a little western town called Love Valley, about 4 hours outside of North Carolina. And it was his dream, the mayor's dream, the developer built this, to put on a rock concert. So Woodstock had just happened in 1969, and here we are the next summer at the very next big rock concert in the South. When we left the little town of Love Valley and they drove us out into the country where the farm was, where we were going to stay, I can remember it became instantly very rural. And we were on this little road that went into very pretty dense, as I'm recalling, wood area. As this road kind of curved around and got in front of this house, it was a big old Victorian farmhouse, like right out of the movies. I know the sound in the summer is humid and all the sounds of the forest. I remember before we went to bed that night, in the kitchen, it was almost like the whole thing was going back in time. And I actually collected antiques. And so I was really fascinated by the Hoosier cupboard that was there. And the top part is usually glass door cupboards. And so it was a workspace, and it was a flower bin, and it had whatever you needed. And these top cupboards. Well, the top cupboard doors had no glass in them. Whatever happened, they never replaced it. That night after we went to bed, I happened to be a very light sleeper. So in the middle of the night, I woke up and I heard one of the band members talking. It sounded like they were having trouble. So I kind of got up and walked out, and I looked around the corner down through the living room to where the bathroom was. And he was just standing outside the bathroom door, which looked like it was open, but I couldn't tell. I said, "Are you all right?" He said, "I can't get in the bathroom." The door was wide open. And I said, "When you can't get in the bathroom?" I said, "Why can't you get in the bathroom?" He said, "You try and get in there." He said, "There's something really weird in that doorway."
I just missed everything on that.
And I felt this cold front.
They did that on purpose.
In the door jamb. And I thought maybe, the door jamb is leaking and it's just the cold coming in from outside, but it wasn't cold there at all. It was hot and it was humid, and this was not that. He said, "I don't know, is it a ghost or what is that?" I said, "Please." I walked through into the bathroom, and it just felt like cold pressure.
Keeps that shit.
Walking through it. And then, but very distinctly, the other side.
I got gloves on.
No temperature. And then I realized I was going to have to turn around and walk back out. So I pushed through, and I didn't feel that coldness anywhere else in the house. The only thing I felt after that, we heard sounds up in the attic room. She's supposed to sleep up there. So like the bed's actually moving or scraping around on the floor. We wondered what in the world he was doing out there. And eventually it stopped. They came down in the morning, and we was on the couch. And they said, "Why'd you come down? What was all that racket you were making last night?" I said, "I didn't go up to my room. I fell asleep and I've been here all night." They came down in the morning, and we was on the couch. And they said, "Why'd you come down? What was all that racket you were making last night?" I said, "I didn't go up to my room. I fell asleep and I've been here all night." He said, "Well, somebody was in the room," so they started asking, "Who was up in this room?" They went up there, and the bed was perfectly made, and there was nothing, no sign of anybody having slept there.
And there's someone behind
we
you,
were
like,
making jokes about it, so that scared. They were definitely traumatized. I mean, were they?
Oh, my best almost got hit.
Relief hotline, tell us where it hurts. Kid has fever? Well, #1 selling Be Cool cooling patches give instant relief from fever discomfort. Yes, Be Cool works. Are we there yet, Fast? Kobayashi Healthcare. If it hurts, we help.
actually just lay down when bang, this sound, crashing, just woke me up. Such a start. What's going on? My heart started racing, and I jumped up, and he jumped up, and my other band members jumped up. We all kind of ran into the kitchen where the sound was coming from, and the cans from the freezer cupboard were flying out of that onto the floor, crashing down. It was just startling. It wasn't like an earthquake where they were jiggling out. No, they were flying out as if something put them in just 2, 3 at a time. Hands crashing down to the ground and rolling across this room. We were all frozen. We just stood there. Back out. There was talk of maybe we should get out of this house. And then it was like, well, where would we go? We're in the middle of the countryside. We have no idea where we are. We have no car. And then eventually we said, this is ridiculous. We gotta go back to bed. It's over. Whatever happens, over. And the next day we got up, and they had people from the town who volunteered to drive us and be our escorts to and from the concert. So we were picking the brain of this person that was our particular escort, and saying, well, tell us about the history of this place, and we used to live here, and who built it? We were sleeping around, wanting to know if anybody was familiar with these kinds of happenings. He starts into this story about the people who built that home originally, back then, which would have been somewhere in the 1800s. They had a daughter, the family had a daughter that had some sort of mental illness. And back in those days, it was something that, for whatever reason, in culture then, people would hide their children if they weren't so-called normal. And so they used to keep their daughter, and they had company, they would take their daughter up into that attic and keep her up there while they had company, so that nobody would be exposed to. Said that she would fuss and she would make noise, and sometimes she would jiggle the bed and anything just to get attention that she did not want being locked away like that. And he proceeded to tell us that it's not uncommon for her to make herself known to people who were staying in that house, having heard the life and the way she lived, and one can only imagine the loneliness and, of course, the wanting to be seen, heard. The demonstration was clearly to say, you're in my house, and acknowledge me.
It's not her.
As I grew older,
Slide on this.
normal and spirits and those things, I guess I kind of put them away, left them in childhood. And
I actually hit it.
But now, after having this experience, I guess anything's possible.
He comes up from behind. He's using the wrong side.
I was in Austin, Texas.
So don't
doing a film.
no, I'm dead, bro. You just kill me automatically.
A friend of mine, she travels with pets, as do I.
You can just kill me automatically.
I checked into the room, and it was a nice suite.
The best thing on this is this.
Here and there that the place had on it.
I got something to
One thing I started to get used to was the elevator door, which is about 12 feet from.
Not them teaming up there, hold on.
Just opening it on at hours and not hearing anyone get out. Just open. I thought maybe random people were pushing the buttons downstairs to get to come to the top floor. But it wasn't the case.
Hunter?
The people who maintained the elevator and the the hotel staff said that it's
That's
odd,
some
but the
cheese.
elevator's just kind of a mind of their own.
Holy, I might think I am.
A couple of times, my dogs would just be staring in the corner of the room. It was the same corner of the room.
He hasn't. That's gay.
About 2/3 of the way through my stay, there was a tremendous storm that hit us. And tornadoes had been spotted.
No, anything. No.
This hotel certainly
No.
isn't enough to withstand a tornado. It's
Yeah, just kill me.
thick wall.
What is this?
The night that the storm occurred,
Oh,
I
this
was
is
awake
a good
about 3
loadout.
in the morning, hearing this loud bang, bang, bang. So I called downstairs, and
Yeah, you can do.
the security guy,
This kid loses some. I was gonna say.
he came upstairs. I thought his energy was odd.
I'm
Because
under.
here's a big
Under.
burly security guy, and he seemed
I'm
frightened.
gonna take that.
Obviously, he heard it as soon as he
What's
came out
this?
of the elevator.
Yeah. I hate that
And
nigga. Ooh.
realized it was coming from the stairwell that kind of shared the elevator shaft.
Just kill me.
And so I said, after you. He didn't move.
I'm checking out some good. Thank you.
I'm sure he's seen a few things and
I'm
bored.
definitely gotta go when I go over there.
Surprised to find him skittish to go through the door. I said, what's wrong?
Did I fall down?
Let's just
You
go.
got to get ready to go to the bathroom.
Ma,
I'm gonna go start the car, get it nice and warm.
Okay, you coming back inside?
Yes, ma'am.
bam, I meant to put on.
Skittish to go through the
You
door.
took this. Bam, I meant to put on this one. Bam. Hunter, you're dead. That was my kill. Monkey.
I said, you've seen ghosts before?
You're not gonna fucking me.
I guess I need to put my coat on,
You can start getting your coat on. I'm gonna go unthaw.
huh? Okay.
To be honest, I was a little afraid to see what it
Make
was.
sure it's steps ain't slippery for you.
Okay, take that.
And start the car, that way it's warm.
Okay.
Started walking up the remaining steps, led to the top of the stairwell.
200. 200.
Yeah, got louder and louder, about, I guess, 16 feet above the
200.
step platform. There was a ladder, a hatch
200.
that was just banging in the wind.
Just 200. There we
After
go.
realizing that it wasn't a ghost,
I didn't even start the car yet. I need to go out there and put the top down.
And I ain't even got off the sofa.
200. 200. Hold on. Let's hold on. 200.
We'll start the car.
200.
Okay.
We still got
200. I mean, shut gay.
Mama, your shoes were falling apart. We're gonna get you a whole nother pair.
in this
Come
pink
on,
red
I gotta
gives you
get
a kind of spooky
Yeah, we gotta get you a whole nother pair.
Okay.
It really
Take the speed.
had this
Thank you.
energy to it that was disconcerting. And he said there was a little girl in the hotel that
Can you
used
take
to
my
play.
food?
She
My
was
food?
the daughter of one of the investors. And she'd fallen on the staircase, and she'd broken her neck.
I'm not dying to spam.
And lots of guests have seen her in the hallways playing with her ball.
Sir, stop hitting me.
The next night after the storm, I was getting ready to go out and meet my buddy Joe, who's kind of
So
a
try to get off this smoke.
I came out of my room, checking for my keys.
There's reason they didn't
A
respond.
woman passed me, and a gown. It might have been a wedding dress.
Once because of
I
that.
thought, she was going to a costume party. I remember it being kind of what it was
Yeah, I got this one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I was telling you to do.
It was when she walked by.
Go ahead and use that toilet
Yeah,
when you have a chance. There.
Two for
The
nothing.
elevator doors were already open behind me.
I was just starting the car to get it warm.
I walked back into my pocket.
And That's just me stepping outside for a minute.
Stepped in, and I turned around, and she wasn't there.
I need listen up, please.
I felt every hair on my head.
Yo, just kill me at this. No.
The lobby button had already been pressed. Distinct feeling that there was someone in the elevator.
If I get a kill with this loadout, I am the best. Yeah, this could suck, so.
When I got to dinner, my friend Joe said, "Are you okay? You look a little pale." And I looked at him and I said, "Well,
how is he not dead yet?"
In the hotel when I was coming downstairs. And he said, "Was it a little girl?" I said, "No." He says, "What floor are you on?" And I said, "I'm in the penthouse." And he said, "Did you see a woman?" And I said, "Yes."
If I get
This woman walked by and she was wearing this
if I get full
dress, floating dress. And I got in the elevator, the door shut, and I turned to press the button to go downstairs. And there was no one in the
give me
elevator.
that. Okay. No.
The button was already pressed.
Go to the side.
And Joe
No!
goes, "Do you realize that there was a woman on that floor who, years ago, was madly in love with a man? They were about to be wed, and on the day of her wedding, he left at the altar."
Hello. My shotgun did 94 headshot.
She went out and bought a gun. She got into the bathtub, fully clothed, and shot herself on your floor.
Listen. No, I'm getting off.
It suddenly occurred to me that all these strange feelings.
No, I'm getting off. I'm popping off.
Seeing your dogs in the room, market, an empty space. It came over like a wave that it was all connected.
This is the best shotgun that's in that thing.
And I had a very distinct feeling.
God, give me the hunting rifle. I win. Oh, and an ice cream barrel. Shazam! Oh, what? I think it's a touch kids. Okay.
Find your SpongeBob toy at Burger King.
Get him down from there.
Let your imagination succeed with 6 new SpongeBob toys. The SpongeBob Movie Search for SquarePants will be in theaters December 9th.
200. Oh no. 100. Okay, that's good. Getting shot from something that I don't need to be shot with right
Show
now.
your kids that education matters. It's a big job that starts with you. It starts at home. Visit OKEII.
Bro, someone like Home Depot or something. Holy. I like when people do that, bro. Damn, what? 200. Oh, come on, man. 200. Okay, now. I have a minigun. I'm not missing this. 200. What? And Mortal Seed returns to me.
All of a sudden, there's the jailing at my door now.
Alright, whoever like name off wrestling, bro.
And I see that the door is open again, then I know that I shut the door. There was a man at the foot of
Now I hear a minigun. Back up, bro.
Hollywood house. There was also a lot of dark stuff going on there too. Whatever was in that house, something was pulling my dad in that direction.
Going looking for something sad and scary, isn't the best idea. But we made it up to the 14th floor, and it said Deadwood.
200.
I think that. My father was this Brooklyn
200.
street kid who met my
200,
mother at 6
under.
kids and became a teacher on Long Island.
Come on, bro.
I grew up in Massapequa,
Get
which
on,
is a town
fucking mob,
adjacent to
man.
Amityville. I was born in Amityville. I
Alright,
lived in
right there.
Amityville for a little bit prior.
200. Oh no.
When I was
200. There we go.
we had the incident where the DeFeo family
200.
was slaughtered, and I was friendly with one of the children. We played Little League baseball together. We were on the same team one year. That was some pretty
200.
scary
Oh, I
stuff.
thought I hit that.
All sorts of reports were coming out
What was
of
up there?
bizarre paranormal activity. No doubt, I was terrified by that.
200. 200. What? 200. Hit that. Get some gay.
Canada is a really, really special place. At certain times in certain places, it's pretty scary. You could sort of be in the middle of some incredible
200.
wilderness,
Oh,
some
no.
incredible wildlife.
What?
And, when you're there in the dead of the Canadian winter,
200. Whoa.
sort of put you in the proper
Oh, no, stop.
to be rattled.
Oh, can you say?
Going with that?
We're shooting in
No.
St. Andrews, Canada.
I'm just trying to get warm.
North as the crow flies, north of the Maine border. There's 3 restaurants, and when you go to the restaurants, they're filled by everybody from the crew. You go to the 2 bars, they're filled by everybody from the crew. There's not even a movie theater there.
Not
Until
just you, remember.
the Fairmont Algonquin was built in the latter part of the 1880s. It's got to be hundreds of thousands of square feet. Just an absolutely magnificent structure.
Oh, I thought I hit that for a second.
I was there one night, and I was rehearsing, and then I was watching some television, and you get lonely up there, you're by yourself in this big
Get off
place
of
in the dead
him.
of winter.
Mark it.
Oh, you right there.
Alright, stop moving, bro.
Okay. All right, now you
And
go.
all of a sudden, there's the jiggling at my doorknob.
Yeah, these people on this
It was like a
stuff
rattling
Yeah,
back and forth.
run.
You know, like somebody jiggling the doorknob.
Oh.
And then
Hold on.
I walked up to the door, and I looked at the people, and I opened the door, and there was nobody there. I mean, from the time I saw the door,
That's because
to the people,
the only kid that has a mic
it could have been more than
The remote or door.
3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. And, you know, got my heart racing. I didn't know what to do.
It's right here on top, okay? That's fine.
Alright.
That's when it sort of all
He
began.
left. No.
Another time, my wife came to visit me. She came for like a week at one point. We were dead asleep. And it's
Sit down from there.
3 o'clock in the morning.
You meddling kid. Oh, he came in clutch. 91.
And I hear this noise. I can't quite make what the noise is. It's a noise that sounds familiar but not right.
I'm gonna fill my
I
water.
realize it sounds
Bottle up.
like running
You
water.
got
And
any
I
more
gotta
than
go to the
others?
bathroom. I go to the bathroom.
Oh. Yeah, man.
Hmm.
Do me a favor. Grab grandma water bottle.
Brother. Brother, man.
Over there by the. Come on now. Get
I don't know
up.
who
Get
you
it.
are.
It's over there.
Not running.
Oh.
It's like gushing.
On the other side. Come on.
I'm not sure what's going on, you know.
Get up and get it, man.
But I turned
On what other side?
maybe
On the other side by
and
the deep freezer.
sounds like my
Oh.
wife's a practical joker.
Uh.
She's a good actor, so she could be. This could be a practical joke, and she could be
Let
sleeping.
me go up real
She's
quick.
not. This happened in the dead of night when you're in total like REM. You know, you're
Hey.
gone.
I knew that.
Of course, my mind was
Jimmy,
trying
go
to
take
come
care
up
of
with
it.
some sort of logical reason, like the water faucet was left open and the water main had been shut down and they were doing repairs and they just turned it back on and now
You
the
got a
water
whole
was
napkin,
shut
don't
down.
you? I don't need to all of it.
Yeah, we got a whole nother room, Mom.
Oh, okay, that's good, yeah.
There was another time. Like I could hear this woman crying.
Water over there. We'll see if you go over there.
Somewhere. Trying to figure out if I can identify where that
Thank
noise
you.
was.
I'm probably gonna shoot it. Nope.
Sobbing, crying. That was more some of the stuff that I had already encountered.
Dare you,
I had no idea
Bad
what
deal.
I was about to experience.
Damn, I missed. Hold on. Damn, I missed. Hold on. Damn, I'm not.
I had a day off.
I'm not
Going to
going.
weed off to see my kids.
You don't need that much water.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just
Take one.
And I came back and I got off the floor
Is it okay?
and there was a gentleman there.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because this is a regular bottle. This is not good.
Okay.
Big
And you don't need to take the whole big brush if you don't need it.
Sort of grayish blue with like a red
Damn.
collar.
I mean,
Cause I got everything,
It seemed like a sweet
yeah,
man.
every time what?
like your birth certificate, or your ID and everything.
So thank you very much. Grabbed the handle of the bag, rolled it in, dropped my
Come on,
briefcase,
take it, go
said,
ahead.
hold on a second. And I snapped off the 20 and handed it to him.
Rock coming down. Bro, walking on in.
No longer than I just described.
I'll try to update my insurance.
Like, what?
I would venture to say at least a couple hours. At least.
I'll just update and
That was
instead of
straight
ran
down.
out
I
on
could have gone up and down the wall. Now all
like,
was
it
just
doesn't run out till next
and
year.
he vanished. You know, you get all Dr. Spock and you're trying to, it has to make sense, it has to be logical, it has to be common sense there. This guy couldn't just vaporize, he couldn't walk through a
You
wall,
should already know why
he
I'm
couldn't
my
disappear like that.
identification.
What?
You know?
Your doctor already
I
knows who
went
you
to the
are.
front desk, and when I started
No,
to
I'm
talk
going
to
to
the
have to
gentleman
fill you up there. You know
who
that,
escorted
right?
me down the hallway, all the way with my
What
bags,
is up there? You
the
got
person at the
that.
desk said,
Changed my
whoever I
mind.
was claiming to have this encounter
You
with
want a bag,
was
like a
not in
small
Yeah,
bag
I
like
need
that?
something to put,
was
yeah.
not.
Yo, hop off, mate.
Yeah.
So you don't gotta carry
Now,
all
if you're
that
gonna
over
fight me
there?
really, then you're gonna die.
The person at the desk said, whoever I was claiming to
You don't
have
need
this
a bra.
encounter with was not on the staff there.
I'm gonna
Did
go.
not
The one I got on my, you know.
Where's up, bro?
First of all, it's Lieutenant Wickerson.
Yo!
No staff. They have very, very limited staff. They're operating at like,
Why
less
are
than
you
10%
treating me like this,
occupancy
bro?
at the time of the year.
Hop off.
Or just empty your purse in here and then put
Now you
whatever you want.
stop shooting at me. Gay.
That'd be the easiest way.
Well, I think it's I'm coming back.
Yeah, you're coming back Mama, you coming back.
Hold on now.
What's going on?
Like,
Coming back.
The
I
structure's
don't
steep.
know if they don't decide to keep it.
getting triple.
You know, sometimes you know,
They got doors spinning, water faucets turning on and off.
Like, you're not good. Pop off.
Her husband got murdered.
Oh,
You're not good, so I don't know why you jumped down.
Yeah, you can bring the water with you. You coming back.
At nighttime.
You're not going with car.
I'm not playing with you.
They talk.
I'm ready for them to try to help me.
Mama, they are helping.
They
They just gotta make sure you're okay to do it. They need surgery, I know.
Hop off my
And I had my head down. All of a sudden, I went to go try this corner, and I was about to bump into somebody,
That's all I'm taking.
and without even looking up, I knew it was him. I looked up, and he was
Just put
there,
it that way.
and he just looked up at me, and he
No,
glanced
you
at
ain't
me,
got
That's my picture.
and then he looked
No,
back
you ain't gotta take all
and he just kept walking by.
Okay, I want
You ain't gotta take all that.
Okay.
You know, I was
Put
just,
that on.
I guess I was just kind of numb. You know, I guess it was a good job driving kind of experience.
Yeah.
I
you heard how it's
think it's further away from me.
If it was me, I wouldn't stay there no other night.
And there's this hallway. I followed down the hallway and turned.
In the daytime. I guess, but when you're in a situation like that, you can't just leave.
I saw him again.
You ain't got nowhere to go.
Oh, shit. I think I would have liked to have a conversation with him. Of course, you want to find out who he is, what's his backstory, what's his history. It was very clear that that was sort of a boundary that was not available to me. That was off limits. That was not going to happen, and that's why I didn't. That's why I didn't push it. That's why I didn't push it. Look, I had no idea why there were certain spirits that never come back. There are certain spirits that you have to channel some way to get them to come back. There's certain spirits that are there even when you don't want them to be there. And I had no idea why. The commitment, the conviction that it takes to bury your head in the ground and say that this can't exist and this doesn't exist and nothing you say or do will ever convince me to think otherwise. I think that's impressive and sad.
No, it's the funniest thing. I love horror. I love horror movies. I love ghost stories. I love everything about a great spooky film. I live in absolute terror of anything ever happening to me in real life. And one of my favorite things to do is actually go away from occasion to work. But the other side of that for me is that I have always had issues as far as sleeping and my surroundings when I go to bed.
These feet are
I was on
needed.
vacation a few years ago, and I was in a hotel room. It was a comfortable, average hotel room, not fancy. I was in room 211.
Get back up there.
And there was the bed. And the bathroom door.
We'll
be back.
I know you will.
These folding mirrors. I had stayed
Bro,
in
you're
the
not
room.
like that.
I went to sleep. Had my usual trouble sleeping, but nothing
Jimmy.
untoward.
Come here, Pam.
Everything was fine.
Hold that blanket up and put it in the boys' closet, the kids' closet.
Alright, I'm done.
I did my usual thing, which was to shut off the doors.
200,
Started the car.
I always have to shut all the doors, bathroom doors, closet doors, any door.
You're not like that, bro. Why are you rushing me?
I'm a person that can't sleep.
Pop off.
I ain't going to work today.
Alright, now this guy, he does too much. I'm done with that.
I remember waking up and I could see the reflection
Are you pointing your gun at me, bro?
of the bathroom door, and I told you I had shut it, and it was cracked open.
200.
I thought that was odd, but I figured, I obviously didn't shut it, didn't swing shut,
No,
whatever. So I
bro.
got out of bed and I shut it.
And
I got back
it's
in
you
bed.
again? Flight!
I dozed off.
You know what? I'm good.
Sure enough, I couldn't sleep. A couple hours later, I wake up and the door is open again. But it's not just a crack this time.
They left.
And I know
I'm chill.
that I shut the door.
I'm chill.
So I shut it again.
I'm chill.
I get back to I can't sleep over my eyes, and I'm looking at that reflection. The door is open, and at the bottom of the foot of the bed, it was this figure. It just
Could never be.
There was
And it's
a
the
man.
same person that killed me. I'm chill.
I was terrified.
I'm
My
chill.
heart started
I'm
to pound, and I just felt like I needed to run out of the room.
I'm trying to get out of bed. My computer's fizzling back and forth, caught in these covers, and I can't get out of the bed. And it just stayed there. It never changed. It never moved.
Don't worry. And then I got a nigga.
Kick the covers off. I went down hard on my knees. And I kind of went into this half crawl, half whatever.
No, I don't care where these seats are going.
Once I kind of got
I'm getting tired of this movie. Someone.
I looked back over my shoulder. And there was nothing there.
No!
It was not my imagination. It was not. I'm telling you.
I gotta stop this, bro.
So I said, I'm not staying here anymore. I'm leaving.
I'm chill.
I don't want to be in this room anymore.
I don't care. I'm killing that nigga. Just gotta die. So I don't care. I'm rushing him on me because he's just camping up top and
It's fine. Give you the
kill him.
room.
It's the only reason I lost my first loadout.
I have all my stuff.
Do you have any good shotgun? I'll take your mammoth. I don't quite like the shotgun. I'll take that back.
I see there's a pile of chains and pennies by my purse.
Not the
It was
best.
all pennies, which was odd. I didn't remember these
Hey,
pennies.
Club needs to die. I don't care. I'm killing him every single
I'm trying
round.
to get out of the room. You know, who cares? You know,
Next time I see him.
I'm fleeing in terror.
Damn, I missed up. I gotta stop doing this, bro.
Everything's okay. I finally
Yeah,
get to
I'm
sleep.
definitely gonna go kill
And sure
Cloud
enough,
real
it's 4
quick.
in the morning.
And Cloudy came out on top of that. Nice.
I'm in my new room.
No, nigga.
Everything's
No.
okay.
Come
I finally
on.
get
Come
to
on.
sleep.
Oh, hell no. I quit.
4 in the morning. This alarm starts going off and it's blaring.
I got my Reaper. That's all I care about.
I'm looking around and I'm scared again. I'm like, what's going on? I hear this alarm going off. So I go out in the hallway and it turns out that there was a
Never
fire
thought
alarm.
of
And
that.
there was, you know, something made the fire alarm go off. And so it was just something else. You know, it's like, when is this going to stop?
No.
Anyway, the next day was
No,
the weekend.
no.
It started the weekend. And so I'm going
I was on
down
top like last time.
for breakfast.
Most likely gonna just
Guys in the
camp top,
elevator, and they were
wait
just-
till you
there were two
unload,
guys in the elevator, they weren't
fall
paying
down,
attention.
call that
And they were discussing the fire alarm the night before, and they were saying there was this
No.
fire and smoke, and oh my god, it was so lucky that no one was in the room, and the smoke would have been a problem, and who knows what would have happened, and thank goodness nobody was in room 211. I wasn't really paying attention until I heard the number 211, because that's the room that I was in the night before, 211. I was just speechless. You know, most people don't die of fire. They die of smoke inhalation.
He just has a 200-point shotgun.
But from what they were saying, there was a great deal of smoke. I called my youngest brother, and I was telling him what had happened. And I get to the part where I'm gathering my stuff and then whatever, and there's pennies and da-da-da, and I don't know what pennies are doing. And he stops me, and he says, "What do you mean pennies?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, pennies." And he says, "Think about it, Tempest. Pennies." And it just clicked for me, like you know, just something falling in place. When I was younger,
You got
we
to
go
hop
visit
off,
my
brother.
great uncle.
Learn how to hop off.
And he was a great guy, very sweet. And
Okay,
when we would go visit him, he would have pennies for us. He had a bank, and it was like an old-fashioned sort of bank. It was his hand, and the little hand would shoot out. Oh, I used to love that. And he would say, you know, when I would come over, my brother too, he would have pennies, and I would play with the bank. My brother was like, this was absolutely Uncle Bill. This was absolutely a ghost coming to warn you to get out of the room. And thank God it happened. Thank God you weren't in the room. Because if something horrible could have happened. I am am very grateful that I wasn't in the room. I am very grateful that who knows what would have happened. I do believe things happen for a reason. I needed to be out of that room. I know that. But it was a terrible experience. It's nothing I would wish on anyone. It was not good. I am very much torn about the whole thing. It was very unsettling. Hollywood is full of those. I think that Hollywood is just full of unfulfilled dreams and a lot of sadness and a lot of...
See, he runs every time, yeah.
Expressed. And I think a lot of paranormal activity is the emotional
He
self
runs
doesn't
every
get
time he
expressed.
I'm gonna start doing that. Every time he comes to me, I'm gonna do this. Sounds convenient. Now he's coming back for his revenge. That he's not gonna get. Oh yeah, he's gonna get it. No, never mind.
It was off of Mulholland Drive with the most amazing view of the valley. But it was really just a California ranch house. The house itself was pretty modest by Errol Flynn standards, I guess.
Okay, he's gonna come back too.
Hollywood house.
Called it.
But there was also a lot of sort of weird, dark stuff going on there too.
Like, look at
Hollywood, with the whole star system, the way things worked. Someone like Errol Flynn, who was this international movie star, drank too much and did a lot of drugs. And pushed the envelope. You know, there were just all kinds of rumors about him. Being a sadist. Lots of people had said that Errol Flynn was a Nazi.
This remote's probably gonna break.
Had a reputation before we bought it for being a haunted house. You know, that didn't deter either of my parents. You know, most houses feel like there's a heart to the home. Sometimes it's a kitchen. This house didn't have a heart. There was no center. And I remember the first time I walked in by myself. The only way I can explain it, it's like there was something going on in the house. It was alive. This long living room. And there are many, many, many pictures of Errol Flynn in his heyday. And I didn't like it at all. I loved where I lived and didn't want to move there. But, you know.
Oh, he's raging worse than me.
And so, moved. I remember the first night I had this dream.
Wait, what? Oh, I thought that was something completely different.
The stairway in my nightgown.
No, I'm going to break my remote. But before I do
Errol Flynn came around the corner.
I'm going to go kill him. Try to go kill him. No, most likely go kill him.
Martini raised his glass to me. And he said, "Happy New Year." Flynn and his group were kind of known as being kind of predatory in their day. And I was a young girl, and I lived in the room that had belonged to Flynn's mistress, who was 15.
Can you stop shooting your weapon?
The room had a two-way mirror.
Hop off, brother. You're not good.
The whole ceiling pretty much was a two-way mirror. And he used to gamble, used to make bets with people.
Thank you for giving me this one.
Get her in the bed, and then they'd make a bet, and then that would happen, and then everybody would applaud in the attic because they were all watching. When you live in a house where the shades go up and down, and the shower door opens and shuts all the time, the toilet flushes by itself, there was no rest. There was no place where you could go and just feel peaceful and restful. Just never felt safe in that house. That's the only way I can really say it. I never felt safe in that house. When we moved into the house, my dad had just gotten a new record contract. He had a hit a couple years before that with a song called Garden Party. He spent a lot of time on the road. And really what started to happen is my parents'
look at him running.
fell apart. And there were a lot of drugs going on.
Look at this boy, bro. I'm playing with him. No, I don't care.
Such great people. They all would hang, just be there wanting something, hanging on. And there was one night when my dad had
Many men
a party,
wish that upon me.
and I went up to my room and just shut the door. And suddenly I couldn't breathe. I tried to kind of calm myself down. Felt like there was this weight on my chest, and I started to you get that thing where you're gonna pass out. You get kind of like that tingly feeling. You want that more. And I could hear somebody laughing. I knew that my dad was still downstairs with some of these people. I'm, getting to the stairway, and I rolled down the stairs and I rolled down the stairs and split on the floor, and I couldn't breathe, and I could hear the laughing, and I'm going, Pop. And the laughing's getting really loud, and I couldn't control my hands. I thought I was dying. I was yelling for my dad, and he finally came over to me. I said, tell that guy to stop laughing at me. And my dad's like, what guy? There was definitely somebody laughing, and it really pissed me off because I was clearly suffering, and it felt like he was laughing at me. Things had kind of started to escalate. I was working on the show Square Pants, and I came home late one night, and I saw somebody walking around in the dining room. It was just a man, and I thought, Pop's home from the road. And when I got there, his car wasn't there, and
when can you log off? Genuinely.
And for sure, we were being robbed. Right below my room was coming with all of the old records. And it sounded like somebody was taking a hammer and smashing all the glass with such violence. And his guitars, it sounded like someone was smashing them. I could hear the wood smash, and there were a couple of big guys downstairs just having it out with the house. And I was terrified. I couldn't leave because I couldn't go down the stairway past this area where the burglars were. So I hid in my closet, and I waited until the noises stopped. And I waited for a good hour after the noises stopped. I went downstairs. And nothing was touched in the house. There was no broken glass. Everything was intact. Everything was perfect. And I called my dad on the road and said, I'm leaving. This was too much. This was really too much. I feel like sometimes that the house sort of paralleled what was happening to my father, in that he had had his fame and he had his day, and he was trying to hang on to something. The house, in a weird way, had its day too, and I felt like it was imperative, for many reasons, that he get out of there and over somewhere else. Things started to happen suddenly he's wearing his bathrobe in the daytime. Suddenly the screens are all ripped and broken, and the paint's peeling on the walls, and nothing's being cared for. And ground, and you can see the decay. You can see it just decaying like an old Hollywood movie star. My dad's not caring for himself and getting depressed and not leaving the house. And it was almost like
I don't give
up. And my dad hated to fly his whole life. He was terrified of flying. And he got weirdly obsessed with this plane. It was Jerry Lewis's plane. And it was an old DC-3. This is a guy who had rules about never flying and anything with props, always fly commercial. He broke all his rules. He would sit at his desk and he'd paint this little model of his DC-3. He would sit there obsessively painting it.
It was craziness, and it shocked all of us.